Hello, everybody. Welcome to Unfiltered Voicenotes. I was thinking about the concept of unfiltered voice notes and how easy it is, but how much discipline and commitment it requires. And I was saying to myself, there's so many times when we tell ourselves that if I had the resources, I would make it happen. But now that I'm doing something that is such low hanging fruit that just requires me to show up, I'm just like, damn, this entire time we were complaining that we don't have the resources, but what we don't have is the discipline. Because trust me, to get up every single week and record this, hell or high water, knowing that there are no excuses and there are no barriers to entry. I don't have an issue with internet. I don't have an issue with a phone. I don't have an issue with my voice. It's just like, damn, you have to get up and do what you have to do. Anyway, I hope that you guys are doing well and I hope that things have been going okay for you. I am not trying to go into this deeply because I don't have the information or bandwidth to properly discuss. But I've asked that because we are going, it's obvious that we're going through a global recession and it's obvious that things are not what they used to be. The dollar doesn't stretch as it used to. Things don't cost the same like they used to. And there's just so many different considerations now and things that we have to do to make our income stretch. And so I'm just checking in. Like, I hope that you guys are okay. And just remember to take it one day at a time because after all of this, what can you do? Anyway, today I want to talk about an article that was released by Lisa Hanna, former Miss World, member of parliament in Jamaica, former minister in Jamaica, philanthropist, all of those wonderful things, and somebody that I admire and respect, Lisa Hanna. So, of course, I'm going to set the context for those who are listening for the first time, or those who are not from Jamaica, or people who just don't know what's going on, right? So Lisa Hanna does these articles every week where she discusses hot topics, matters of importance, current affairs, or whatever the hell she wants to talk about that she wants to use the platform for and use the platform as a tool of advocacy for. So this last week, she discussed the creative industry in Jamaica and how everybody is monetizing off our creative industry and also how we're losing all of these opportunities because we do not have the resources to do all the things that we could be doing, like Nollywood, like how Nigeria and them have such a big industry. You don't need to talk about LA and Los Angeles. We don't need to talk about that. But like in other areas, in the world, they have developed their creative platforms and industries to be able to facilitate all of the interest and all of the needs and wants that are coming. Because remember that time is not what it used to be, where you used to go off on a big production for 9 months and come back. Now things are much faster. People are looking to do things cheaper and people are looking to do things more quickly. So in the article, she discussed all of those things. She discussed our barriers, such as customs. She discussed the fact that we do not have the infrastructure, we don't have a sound stage, what it would cost to do that, what it would cost for us to establish this. She broke it down in terms of like private investment versus government investment, and then also the fact that we can go on the junior or the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and we as people can also invest. But the long and short of it and the essence of what she was saying is that there's a lack of infrastructure to facilitate all of this that could be possible, especially with such a big cultural impact on the world like Jamaica, right? So there's been a lot of discourse and a lot of people are talking. I agreed, I commented, and I'm going to add this other layer to it so that you guys can understand what's going on. I've worked with major productions, with global brands that have local arms, right? So, for example, a brand that is global has, let's call the brand John Brown. So John Brown has John Brown Global, and then they need to shoot the ads for John Brown local, John Brown Jamaica. And I've seen it time and time again where they shoot the ads, they replicate downtown Jamaica, they replicate so many parts of Jamaica, in Mexico City, in Puerto Rico, all over the place, because it is cheaper, they have the resources, they don't need to be paying arm and a leg to bring in their equipment, and even if they have to bring in equipment, they can rent half of it, they have the sound stage, they have the infrastructure, all of those things, and so we are losing money. So that's the essence of what Lisa was talking about. And I've been thinking about what she said. And by the way, you can go and check out the article. I've been thinking about it, and my mind is just like, what would I add to this conversation as a creative? As a creative who is also a trained attorney, who understands the legal implications of everything, who understands finance to a great degree, what would I add to the conversation? And I think that's a great portion that obviously, she doesn't have all day to do this, but I am going to add this. What I think is missing from the conversation is the foundation that needs to be created and placed in Jamaica for the creative industry to be taken seriously as a viable industry that can earn for the country and that people can benefit from as a whole, right? We do not have the infrastructure from the university level to even properly train people. The Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts is the primary tertiary unit that relates to performing arts. It is underfunded, it is underserviced, it is understaffed, and most people do not choose it as a viable space for them to grow and hone their crafts in the performing arts or any sort of creative industry. So we've already lost there because we're not even showing that creativity is important for us from an education standpoint, right? And so what you have is that the same 5 people who are trained through experience, who know how to do lighting, who know how to do sound, who went on tour with this person, who went on tour with that person, those same 5 people are doing everything, right? But not only that, we are not telling our students, we're not telling our children, we're not telling our society that we take creative arts seriously from an educational perspective, right? So that is our blind spot number 1. Blind spot number 2 is that we are still convincing ourselves that the creative industry is something that everybody can benefit from. Let me add a little context to this. Remember, that before, probably 10 years ago, most Jamaicans did not believe that the creative industry was anything outside of music and acting. And if we look at music and acting from how generally people look at it, they're thinking, okay, I'm not the singer, I'm not the backup singer, I'm not the actor, I'm not the extra on the set. This does not benefit us as Jamaicans. So when we think about how things benefit us, we always talk about things like tourism. And we say, oh yeah, man, tourism is viable because so many people have opportunities due to tourism. The craft vendors, the people who drive, the taxi men, the people who work at the hotels, the people who clean, the people who service the hotels, the people who sell their crops to the hotels to make food. Like, it's just a big ecosystem of how this thing is economically viable and a big earner for us as a country. But the problem is, we have not broken down and dissected how many jobs can come from the creative industry, right? We're not just talking about makeup artists. We're not just talking about hairdressers. We're talking about extras. We're talking about hands on set. We're talking about the grip. We're talking about the craft services, the people who cater. We're talking about the people who do the transportation. We're talking about people who have to make props. We're talking about the dressmaker who has to sew the things. We're talking about so many different layers in terms of staffing that we have neglected altogether because we haven't seen big production in action. And so I think that is something I would add to the conversation to say, hey, for us to have this conversation in a useful way And for people to really start understanding that, look, you're being left behind. It's for us to really break it down to say, look at how many jobs can come from this, right? We are sending people to hospitality school because we understand how many jobs can come from tourism. There's so many opportunities that can come from a creative project in our country from start to finish 360 degrees. And so that is something that I would add to the conversation. The other thing and the last thing that I would say, this is an unfiltered voice note. Please go watch Lisa Hanna and give me a break. But seriously though, the last thing I would add is that we need to figure out how we can monetize from Brand Jamaica from a foundation perspective, from scratch, and then allow other people to build on it. So I notice Adidas, I notice Nike, I notice everybody comes with these Jamaican colors and Jamaican inspired merch and Jamaican inspired gear and Jamaican inspired this. And we're just like, wow, we're so happy to be seen, chosen, picked, and it's not enough anymore. And so we have to think about, okay, how does Brand Jamaica own all of this and create a platform through all of this, whether it is through Jamaica, as in, you know how the Jamaica Tourist Board has Jamaica, whether it is through that, whether it is through, I don't know, but how do we create a baseline of Jamaica and Jamaican products and Jamaica merch and Jamaica everything so that everybody else now can take it and run with it, but we are still benefiting from it. Case in point, this is privately owned, this is our franchise, this is completely different. But look at Barbie. For everybody to take Barbie core to the next level, they had to have Barbie. And they had to have Barbie the doll, Barbie the lunchbox, Barbie the movie, Barbie the luggage, Barbie the blouse, all of those things. What can we do for Jamaica to be Jamaica? Whether it is through tourism, whether it's through the entertainment industry, the ministry, whatever, what can we do for it to be owned by us so that we can benefit first and then everybody else can benefit after? That's the question I have. And of course, this is a multi-layered conversation and it includes like intellectual property, all of those things. But we have to figure out, in the same way that the Marleys figured it out for themselves, how we can own that one thing and then turn it into something for everybody else. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. And I could go on, but, you know, this is supposed to be easy listen and so on. So I'm going to do a Ask Rush. This person sent me an email and it says, I'm going to send for my friend because she doesn't want to hear it from me. Hi, RushCam. Love you, by the way. Hey. Am I, Jesus have mercy. Am I the asshole? So I am married, a 31-year-old married with 2 girls, planned and happy. Both my girls attend prep school and we live comfortably. Good jobs, house, cars. Anyways, I got married to a man who is not romantic. And yes, we spoke about it before. And he used to try before the ring went on the finger. I'm speaking in English. It's sent in Jamaican patois. Like, all he thinks about is him staying hours on me, but no foreplay, etc. Anyways, I was a good girl growing up, so my one other partner was from age 17 to 23, and we broke up by him moving away and going into the Navy. A lot of details, but I'm going to read it. Anyways, long story short, he was a great lover, and I don't cheat. So the other day, I realized that during the do, I noticed that my mind went to him, and that has been the best I've had in a while. Anyways, because I wanted to ensure I stay in my marriage and not step out, I decided to speak to my husband about it, and he stated that me and the other guy were having sexual conversations, and that's why I'm asking him to adjust stuff, because any girl would be happy with a man that does what he does and stay for hours and hours and hours. Tell me, am I the asshole for wanting to spice up my relationship? Girl, you're not the asshole for wanting to spice up your relationship, but you're definitely the asshole for telling the man that you're thinking about another man. Like, hello? Is anybody there? Are you crazy? Not everything good to eat, good to talk, as Jamaicans would say. And so I think that's a good way to go around it. Say you have a good job and you say that you guys are, um, have good jobs, good, yeah. So you have the resources. I would actually consider going to a sex therapist because I have couple friends that I know who have explored that or like, you know, checking out content like that about those issues and it has helped. But the problem is that now the man is feeling insecure because he feels like you are interested in somebody else. And so what is going to be looming over his head for this entire thing is she actually just doesn't want me and she doesn't know how to say it. So you're going to have some work to do in terms of bringing him back to life, in terms of his ego and making him feel like he's important and special to you. But otherwise, I think that that can be an approach that you guys take. And yeah, well, you can tell a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Top shotters are back. Anyway, yeah, I think that that is a good approach. But yeah, let me know how it goes, deadass, because damn. Anyway, this is it for me for today. I am encouraging you guys to eat what you have at home. There's food at home. Eat it. There's food at home. Eat it. So have a good day. Have a good week. I love you guys all. Thank you so much for the support. And if you haven't yet, follow us on TikTok and on Instagram at nondapodcast@gmail.com. That's not actually a handle, That's an email address. I'm so sorry. You know what? I'm gonna go. I chat too much. Bye.